Vitamin D is an extremely important micronutrient that we need to fulfill many roles within the body. It is known as a sunshine vitamin, as our skin produces it upon exposure to sunlight. Therefore, as more people spend time indoors, away from the sun, the amount of people deficient in it increases. In this video, I aim to cover some of the important roles vitamin D has in the body and possible signs of vitamin D deficiency. To start things off, vitamin D is needed to regulate and maintain the normal function of the immune system. Studies suggest that vitamin D is involved in the functions of the immune cells, as immune cells have been found to have vitamin D receptors. Therefore, one should provide the body with sufficient levels of vitamin D to keep the immune system functioning as it should. Vitamin D is also needed by the body to absorb calcium in the intestines. Therefore, as it is involved with calcium absorption, it has implications to bone health, as calcium is a mineral needed to keep your bones strong. In this way, having normal levels of this vitamin is important in prevention of weak bone conditions such as rickets and osteomalacia. Next, vitamin D is thought to regulate inflammation. An article on the Harvard Health Publishing website explains some background knowledge needed to understand the mechanism to inflammation pretty well. The article states that there are two types of inflammation, acute and chronic. Acute being the redness, heat, and swelling on tissues and joints you see after sustaining injury. In response to the injury, the immune system sends immune cells to the area to protect the area and fight off any pathogens. Therefore, acute inflammation is good as it protects the body from infection. Chronic inflammation, on the other hand, is where this process persists for a relatively long period of time, eventually resulting in immune cells attacking healthy body cells. This process is bad and can occur when the initial cause of the acute inflammation hasn't been dealt with properly by the body. Chronic inflammation is thought to increase the risk of developing cancer, as it can cause cell damage to the healthy surrounding cells around the inflammation. With this in mind, we can look at how vitamin D links to this. Studies have shown that vitamin D has the potential to stop cancer from developing by interfering with the mechanism of inflammation, as proposed by this review on the anti-inflammatory effects of vitamin D. This is just scratching the surface in terms of the benefits of vitamin D from what is available through current scientific literature, let alone what may be discovered through further studies on the subject. Now we can move on to some of the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency, and these should make a bit more sense now that we've looked at some of the roles that vitamin D has within the body. Some of these symptoms include weak and aching bones, regular infections, and fatigue. As you can see, symptoms and the function that something has within the body go hand in hand. The best way of getting vitamin D is through being out in natural sunlight that is neither too strong nor too dim, as the former can pose other risks such as sunburn, and the latter makes it hard to meet the sufficient daily needs of vitamin D. This is why some countries that don't get satisfactory sunlight recommend taking a daily vitamin D3 supplement to make up for this. This is another good way of meeting the daily needs. In terms of food, there are foods that have vitamin D, however only in small amounts, and of course sunlight is a much better option. These foods include oily fish such as salmon and mackerel, cheese and eggs. So that marks the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and took something useful from it.